Hey, what's up, Noah? What are we doing?
Hey, we're doing a new show.
Oh, yeah? It's a new show, right? I'm sure people realize that from the new album art.
Yeah, like everything's gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
Different music, different intro.
Yeah.
And we're doing this thing.
Good Charlotte plays the beginning. Oh, yeah, and we're doing this thing.
The show is TLDW.
Whoa, what does that mean?
Too long, didn't watch.
Oh, shoot.
Because Joey,
What?
we think we're cool ass film people.
I mean, I don't know if I'm cool, but I'm cooler than most film people. I'll put it that way.
Right? But then all these other film nerds come around and be like, have you seen Citizen Kane? Have you seen all these other big fancy movies?
You haven't even seen Space Jam? Are you even a real film major? And I was like, I've seen Space Jam, sir. Have you seen Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed? Because I have.
So many times. But the problem is, you've watched Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed so many times that it's gotten rid of all the space for the classics.
I neglected the Donnie Darkos, the Albert Hitchcocks,
The Saving Private Ryans, you know?
the Friends. I never watched Friends.
Yeah. And that's the point of the show,
Oh,
is we haven't seen the classics.
okay.
But is it worth it? There's all these classics out there that everyone needs to watch, but no one has time to watch all the classics.
No.
But we're going to make time,
Damn right.
so that way the audience doesn't have to.
Exactly.
So we're here to save you, or, help you watch some classics that you really do need to watch.
Yeah. We will talk about the film, maybe up to as long as the film and past it. But then what you see then is an entirely different experience, because now you go in knowing all of these background details and like what our input on it, which is obviously invaluable.
And that's us, our words, invaluable.
Damn right.
Joey has not seen the movie we're about to watch. Ever.
No, I haven't.
And I've given him so much slack for it. I've seen this one, but I think the premise of this show requires that some of these movies, neither one of us has seen.
At least one person on the show has to have not watched it.
Yeah, gone in blind. We can't have any nostalgia bogging it up.
Right.
And so our first film is Back to the Future. You know, Back to the Future music.
Yeah, that's what that is, right?
It's been a long time since I've seen it. But Joey, what do you know about Back to the Future?
Okay. I will sum up everything I know about Back to the Future using only sounds. We have to go back, Marty.
Oh, geez, my mom's hot. Wow, this car sure is cool.
88 miles an hour.
Shoes to tie themselves.
It's a DeLorean, Marty.
And Michael Fox. I have Parkinson's.
That's all I know. That's everything.
That montage right there was about the equivalent of the Percy Jackson movies to the book. It's like you got some of the details right, definitely not in the right order.
I've not seen the movie yet, but that is, I'm sure, a brilliant comparison.
Yeah, 80s classic that I feel like, you gotta see. One of the things that you said, just a little sneak peek, you called him Michael Fox. He legally isn't Michael Fox. There was already a Michael Fox.
Oh,
so
really?
he had to legally be Michael J. Fox
Oh,
for the Screen Guild Association.
interesting. Oh, that's really weird. Okay, little tidbit before. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. All right, should I go and answer some questions or something before we go in to be like, here's my opinion before I see the movie?
Okay, so you know a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi,
Yeah.
and it's about going back to the future.
I assume I'll like it. I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's got like everything I like in a movie, which is why it's even more ridiculous that I haven't seen it. Because I love time travel, I love sci-fi, I like comedies. I love Chris Lloyd because he was in another movie that we should watch, because I don't think you've seen it, called My Favorite Martian.
I knew that's where you were going.
Yeah, because Chris Lloyd's in that, and as a kid, I loved that movie. I watched it recently, and it is garbage. That movie is total trash. But yeah, I think I'm gonna like it. I've heard a lot about it. It's still super talked about, like all the time. Just overall, I think I'll like it a lot. So how recently have you seen it?
It's been multiple years. I'm going to
Okay.
say like at least 5 years for me.
So do you have any opinions on it that you want to share before we get into it?
Let's see. I think Back to the Future is one of those movies that has pretty solid sequels.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll talk about the sequels.
Right.
It's one of those movies that I go back to and I'm like, oh, Back to the Future 3. Like, that's a cool one. And Back
Okay.
to the Future 2 is pretty good.
So I do know one other thing about Back to the Future. I don't think it's from the first one. It's the scene where Marty McFly holds the guitar in front of the giant amp and strums it, and it blows him backwards.
I think that's from the first one.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
I'm not sure.
Man, what is this movie?
I think it's from the first one.
Well, yeah, I'm excited to watch it and get into it. So we'll see you guys in less than a couple minutes.
Back to the future.
Well, it's a DeLorean.
Higher density. The flux capacity.
Never seen purple underwear before.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Get your damn hands off her.
1.21 gigawatts. Erase from existence.
What the hell is a gigawatt?
I hope you know I took no notes for this. I was just letting you know ahead of time. Again.
No, we just big talking. We watched the movie at the same time, just in different spaces.
Yeah, on different things because it came out on Netflix. So I rented it. You started watching it, but apparently you cannot watch it on multiple screens at the same time.
Okay.
Which is stupid. And I was like, oh well, it's fine. I'll just pay $4 or whatever for the rental. Wait a minute, it's on Netflix. I was like, no, it's not. And we went and looked on Netflix, and there it was.
And that's the reason I wanted to pick it in the first place, is because it was on Netflix, easy to watch.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't on Netflix for like, what, a month?
I don't know. I guess.
And then it's
September
back.
1st, it came back, I guess.
So it was a fiasco for our first ever movie watch.
I would say it was worth it. Yeah, I
thought it
enjoyed
was good. It's been a while since I'd seen it, but I was like, this is good.
Well, it's crazy how much it like holds up. So, opening shot, interior, clocks.
So many clocks.
A lot of clocks. I get it. It's a time travel movie. Wow.
Well, and that's what I
clocks.
thought too, because I was taking notes.
Right.
And so my very first thing is opening scene, clocks. Oh my God, so many clocks.
There's so many fucking clocks. So, okay, cool. Opening scene clocks. Then directly to Marty McFly stands in front of a
Mega amp.
speaker. Yeah, an amp that is taller than he is, and is like, I'm gonna strum this bitch. Who in their right mind is like, yeah, this is a good idea. I'm just gonna turn this bad boy all the way down. And he's like, I'm gonna crank it. We'll just see how it goes.
I might die, and that's
God.
okay.
And I love how much product placement is in this movie.
I literally wrote down every time that I thought I knew like a sponsorship.
So yeah, he does the thing. He flies backwards. The thing that I thought was like in the third one or something.
No, it's the very first scene.
Yeah, which is funny that it was the very first scene because I was like, oh, this is a later one, and then I saw it. I was like, oh. Then gets a call from Doc Brown. He's like, oh, it's 8:00. Ah, actually, it's 8:15. Get fucked.
But first instance of one thing I really like about this movie
Uh-huh.
is they do a really good job with callbacks
Yeah.
and like setting up something and then making it important later.
I thought that was brilliant. Please continue. I agree with you. They did a really good job.
Just specifically because at the beginning I was like, ha ha ha, clocks, opening scene, time travel movie, get it? I wrote all this stuff in my notebook because I thought I was funny. Of
course.
And then they all go off together and
Yeah.
then it's like a plot point about all these clocks going off. And I was like, oh, it's not just like, ha ha ha, it's a time travel movie. It's like, oh no, Doc was doing something
Yeah.
with them and it
Of
wasn't like
course.
a wasted.
Did we get to see him doing something with them?
Just the fact that he called and then he explained
Yeah.
why there were so many
Oh,
clocks.
I got you.
kinda.
I
So-
got you. Yeah, no, I thought they did a really good job setting up the whole premise. The very beginning, when they're like setting up the first act, things are moving super fast, right? You've got like the world set up. Marty likes guitar, likes rock music. Doc, insane scientist guy, wacky, did something with the clocks. Marty's dad, known to be a loser. Marty has a girlfriend. Marty wants to be in music, but people don't like his music. All of those things are set up in like the first like 20 minutes. As things start like moving forward a little bit more, you've got this kind of hectic scene outside this clock tower, which is like the save the clock. They wanted to tear it down and put it in a new one because it got hit by lightning in 1955. And it's just perfect plot point leading into it. And I thought that was like really brilliant because at first I was like, wow, this is like such a noisy scene, super annoying. And then they bring it around very quickly after with the payoff. And then that's like the whole thing that ties in.
Well, another thing is Marty was riding on a skateboard behind a truck.
Right.
And you're going down the street and then there's just a random bus that says like re-elect Goldie as mayor.
Right.
And I was like, why is it holding on this pan so long?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I guess I'll write that down, re-elect Goldie.
Yeah.
And then later to be known, Marty has influence on why Goldie is mayor.
Which is so good for a time travel movie. It seems like that's what should happen. But I also feel like this movie set up a lot of precedents for what we should see in a time travel movie, where it's like, oh, well, he's going to the past. he's got to influence things that we see in the present when we're setting it up. And so we see the clock tower, we see the mayor. So good. I just the entire movie, I was like, I like this movie.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is a good movie. It's worth the watch.
Okay, so that's where we're at. Save the clock tower. Then what?
So we got Marty was at Doc's.
Mm-hmm.
Marty goes to school. We kind of established who Doc, Marty, his parents are.
Yeah.
His girlfriend gets taken away by her dad, and he goes home.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Dad being bullied by his boss, Biff, who's making him write his reports and stuff.
He's doing hello, knock knock, hello. Knocking on
Are
his
you
head.
there, McFly? Come on, butthead. His dad's being bullied. Later, we find out that was his high school bully. There's just a little parallel there that his dad is a pushover.
Yeah.
And always kind of has been a pushover. Their whole life is just kind of like sad. Their brother and sister just like aren't like super chill with everything. It seems like a real like meager, boring life. It's not necessarily depicted that it's bad that they fight, but like the way the mom just like looks off in the distance when the dad's like so uninterested in how they got together story. So you can tell the romance isn't there. The kids aren't super happy with their lives. And Marty's just kind of there. He seems kind of like a sore thumb because he is this cool, rad kid.
Yeah.
And everyone else around him's really bland.
Marty just don't care. He's a fucking badass.
They make it seem like that a lot. And like Marty's like this perfect character who's just like an anime character where he's just like, he's good at everything. But Marty does audition in these opening scenes for the band. And like you said, no one likes his music. He's real discouraged by that. And his girlfriend's like, submit a tape to the radio. What's the worst that can happen? And he's like, well, what if I get rejected? I can't handle that. Yeah. What is his dad doing? That's like, I can't stand up to Biff. What if I get rejected? I can't handle that. Like, what if he beats me up? And so you realize, oh, Marty's this cool facade and he's nothing like his dad, quote unquote. Yeah. But actually, he has the exact same flaw as him. It's just masked differently, and he's able to hide it better.
No, and there's a lot of things about Marty's character that are really interesting because, like, the whole time he's portrayed as this superhero. But I don't know. It's really weird to have a protagonist that has so few flaws. And so, like, that's kind of interesting to me because usually you have this intro of, like, the hero, right? They're like, man, if I could only have XYZ, which he kind of does. But I feel like the whole film isn't leading up to him becoming a rock star, you know? The film is him fixing his parents.
And so this is kind of like an interesting point. Something that makes Back to the Future a different kind of story is it has a flat character arc instead of a positive character arc, which is your standard hero story of like your hero believes in a lie, like believes that they can't be anything, slowly has to overcome that. And by the end, they realize like, oh, I can make change and they're a different person. This is a flat arc where Marty's not changing. At the beginning, he's not super passionate about his like rock career. At the end, it's not so much more anyways either. Yeah. They don't really give you a chance to feel that at the end. It kind of jumps to the end really quickly. Yeah. Also, at the beginning, he's like, you need to stand up to bullies. You should have stood up to your bully. And at the end, it's the same premise. He believes you should stand up to bullies. Nothing changed that. So Marty has a pretty flat character arc throughout the whole story. Yeah. It's about him inspiring change in the people around him.
Which, yeah, that is really unique. You don't see that a whole lot in films. But I also think that's kind of what makes it good, you know? It's like you have a character who's super influential. Something I thought was kind of weird. The subtle plant in the beginning of, someday, baby, this 4x4 is gonna be mine. Wouldn't that be hot? And she's like, yeah, whatever, dude. It's a truck. And, like, looking at it, it's like a Toyota, normal-looking truck. Like, it's... not like a super like big badass truck.
And he really gives off this like rocker feel. So you almost don't even think like he would be a truck. He'd be more of like a DeLorean kind of guy.
I mean, he feels like a sports car kind of dude. Which, can I just talk about? We're not quite to the DeLorean yet. But they make the DeLorean look so good in this movie.
The very first time I saw it, I was like, this is an ad. This isn't just like, oh, they wanted the DeLorean because it looks like a spaceship. No, they got paid a shit ton of money to show off the DeLorean, and the fact that it could go 88 miles an hour is a huge plot point.
Oh my god!
Only because they got paid to make sure. Like,
and didn't the DeLorean have like famously like a bunch of engine issues or something?
Oh yeah, it was not a good car.
Yeah,
there's like the actor who did Biff did like a letter later about all the questions that everyone asks all the time. One of those plot points in his little letter is the DeLorean sucks. I can't fit inside of it or whatever it is.
That's so funny. Oh, but yeah, okay. So, picking up plot. He has dinner with family. His mom's such a prude. Ugh.
Yeah, he can't tell stuff to his mom because his mom will just give him a rant.
Yeah, she must have just been like a nun when she was a kid, you know? There's
Joey,
no way.
You're saying that weird. Why are you acting weird?
Because
you're bobbing your head while you're doing it.
I don't know.
You seem to be in a character.
It's almost,
I don't know why.
It's almost like it's the exact quote. It's like, man, mom, she just She must have done nothing fun.
No, yeah, she probably didn't do anything fun. I don't know why you're like
I don't know. It's
making
not,
a big
maybe
deal
it's
out of it.
foreshadowing. I don't know. Hold on, wait. I forget what happens.
He goes to sleep because Doc said in the first scene, "Be up at 1:15 a.m."
Oh, that's right.
And then so he had fallen asleep, and then he gets the call, and he's like, "You're not asleep, are you?" And he's like, "Nope, I didn't miss anything."
With the sick insert shot of Pepsi free.
Sponsor number 1, quote unquote 1.5, because we've already talked about the DeLorean.
Also, there's Nike. Nike sponsored him like hell.
No, in my notes, it comes up after the DeLorean. They're wearing hazmat suits.
Yeah.
And I go, hazmat suits, but Doc got fresh shoes on.
Yeah. Good thing my feet can't get radiation poisoning. He goes to the Twin Pines parking lot outside the mall where they do the test, then the big reveal of the DeLorean, which is, once again, just looks so badass. But it's such a trash car, but it looks so cool. And like, I know there's shit cars.
I know I don't want a DeLorean, but I want a DeLorean.
I kind of want a DeLorean. I couldn't see shit with those tiny mirrors and no rear view, but you know, I'd be cool. This is where the plot gets
Thickens.
a little bit weird. All right. So they test out the DeLorean. It works.
Time travel.
Yeah.
Einstein is 1 minute back in time. Einstein is the dog. I don't know if we mentioned
Oh,
that.
yeah. Einstein's the dog, the test dog. At first, I was like, oh, shit, is Einstein dead? Because the whole car was like frozen over. Which is a super cool effect. And they definitely ran on a budget to do it because the last one isn't as nice as the first one.
I know you like agree with this, maybe not for this movie, but like old 80s style electricity is just like a fun, cool effect.
Oh, like so.
And so even though the effects aren't great, it's like this fun electric like stuff that they don't even try to do anymore. And so it feels really unique and it doesn't feel outdated because it just feels like the time that they're in.
Oh, it's so good. Like, I wish we did it more because I know it takes for fucking ever because it's hand drawn, but it's so nice. It's so clean. And there's a part later where like they like specifically highlight certain portions of the DeLorean as it's driving, and it's super dope. It's it's mint. Yeah. They send it in the future. He comes out. Wow. Oh, Doc shows Marty how to use the time machine. That's a very important part of the plot. And he brings up, he's like, this is where you were. This is where you are. This is where you're going. And he reminisces about how he discovered time travel.
Yeah, Doc hits all the big dates. He's like, be where the Declaration is signed. Be when, like, the bombs dropped on Hiroshima. Be where I first discovered time travel.
When I fell in the bathroom off of the toilet and hit my head. And that's when I woke up envisioning time travel. And then he's like, so what does this thing run on? Like gasoline? And then Doc is just like, what? No, not on gasoline, run on plutonium. They make a big point out of more plutonium because you can only go one way with one tube of plutonium.
And the car doesn't run on plutonium. It just needs nuclear fission to create enough electricity.
Right. It's the what's it called?
The flux capacitor.
The flux capacitor needs 1.12 gigawatts. They put in the plutonium. He's like, hey, where'd you get this from the drugstore? And he's like, no, I took it from some Libyans who wanted me to make a bomb out of it.
I gave them a fake ass bomb. Yeah. What idiots.
And then the Libyans show up in a fucking VW van. They're just like, they're here. He's like, who? The Libyans. They're just like, what?
How did he know?
What a fucking weird plot point. And then they kill Doc. So Doc gets shot. Marty jumps in the DeLorean. Zoom! Goes back in time by accident because...
man, there was like a 5-minute chase scene where they show off how cool the DeLorean was.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, there's a 5-minute commercial
it
in the
didn't just
middle.
happen.
There's a 5-minute commercial. So then he goes, phew, he's back in time. And,
by accident.
He's in the middle of Old Man Peabody's barn. Yeah, so he's back in time. People think he's an alien. There's this whole gag with that. And then he drives away only to have the DeLorean break down on him.
And he tries to drive home.
Yes.
He tries to go home, and the development where he lives at hasn't even been started yet. It's literally just the 2 entry pillars of who bought the land.
Yeah.
And then when he tries to get back in to go back to town, the DeLorean doesn't start up.
And this is 1955. Remind me, what year did they start in?
1985. So it's 30 years exactly.
So 30 years exactly. Why does Doc look the same?
I don't know. Some old men, though.
Yeah.
They hit 40, and then they just don't age for the next 40 years of their life, and then they die.
Yeah.
Which is what happens to Doc.
So crazy. But anyways, yeah. So he tries to hitchhike at first. They're like, oh, drive, go away, Wilford.
He looks like a spaceman.
Yeah.
He's wearing a life preserver. It's a cool vest, guys. He's
vest.
fashionable.
Everybody thinks it's a life preserver, which I'm sure is like everybody at the time when the movie came out. It's like, oh, that's hilarious. But I was just like, okay. I mean, I guess.
You guys don't understand. It's a fashion. Stop, Mom.
Then he goes into town, sees that everything like looks nicer and new because he's 30 years in the past. Finally, he sees a newspaper that tells him what year it is. And he's like, my God, as if, I don't know how he wouldn't have put it together. He
with the
jumped
other
into a
cars
time
he saw, and
yeah, I don't know. Anyways, you always have to have that moment. He goes into the milk shop.
The diner.
Yeah.
Milk shop diners.
Yeah, the milk shop
Someone
diner.
ordered chocolate milk at one point.
He tries to find Doc. He's like, Doc will be able to help me because it's 1955.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes and uses the public telephone. He goes up, asks for a Pepsi free. If you want a Pepsi, you're going to be paying for it. Oh, funny joke. And he's like, man, I'm going to make something of myself someday. And then Marty's like, he's right. He's going to be mayor. Marty, 101, don't change the past. You're putting
But
your
he
gunk
hasn't
everywhere.
seen Back to the Future. Marty is in 1985 when cool time travel movies haven't been established yet.
Was there anything else that happened in the diner that was
He meets his
important?
dad.
Oh,
His
yeah,
dad
that's
gets
right.
bullied for the first time.
Yeah. He sits down and in walks Biff. And Biff is like, what are you doing here, McFly? And then there's this great moment where both Marty and his dad turn around and he sees his young version of his dad getting...
And he's just jaw dropped.
bullied.
He's like, blah, 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 that's George.
Oh, well, that's my dad. He's getting bullied.
George McFly is played by Crispin Glover,
Yeah?
who does a very perfect, like, nerdy dude.
Oh, really good.
He's really good at it.
Yeah, what a
Oh, man.
dweeb. But yeah, then they do the whole bit from the future that we saw before where Biff was bullying George, right? Oh, it's like, knock, knock, hello, anybody home? And I thought that was a bit played up. I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. Cool. That it's still getting bullied exactly the same way. I don't know. Do something different. Be original.
It's a small
30
town.
years?
People don't change.
30 years? Same fucking bit for 30 years? I'd go insane.
So Biff leaves. His dad's still there, and Marty's like, dude, you gotta stand up to him. Because one of Marty's core principles is now explained that he doesn't like bullies. Dad's like, I don't know, he's big and strong. I can just do the work. It's fine. And he's like, okay, well, I need to like figure out how to get home, and this is my dad, so maybe I should like stay around. And then his dad just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what the hoo-ha, how do I, huh.
What the
And then so he
fuck?
tries to like find him. He tracks his bike and he sees it parked at the edge of a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what's going on? And he sees his dad climbed up the tree, and he's like, why in the world are you climbed up a tree? Cut to the window of his young mom changing in the window, and his dad is peeping on her.
This is a point where I was like, okay, so couple of things. One, we need to teach guys not to be shitheads. We need to teach them not to look into windows at the girls. Two, close your damn window. Close the blinds. It's just common sense. Like I don't care who you are. I close my blinds when I'm changing. Regardless. So George falls in the street.
And so that's the way it originally happened in the past. That's their love story. George falls, gets hit by grandpa, and then George gets rescued by mom. Mom falls in love. They go to the dance. They kiss and they get married. And that's the original story. But now Marty's like, oh no, I gotta save dad. And so he runs, pushes dad out of the way. He gets hit by the car. Bada boom, bada bing. The timeline has been changed. Enter Act 2. We've been in Act 2.
Yeah.
We went back in time.
He wakes up and he's like, oh, Mom. And he's like, it's okay. It's all right. He's like, I had this terrible dream. I went back in time. It was awful. And she's like, it's okay. You're back home safe in 1955. You've entered the Twilight Zone. And that's when he sees his mom.
She's in the light, and she's hot, thin.
Hot. Also, a little bit hot. A little bit cute.
Yeah.
But also, damn, she is horny as hell.
Yeah. No, I believe in your intro, you're like, Marty tries to fuck his mom. During the whole thing, I was like, He did not once try to
No.
fuck his mom. His mom's gunning for him.
Dude,
She's got the eyes of a huntress.
Jesus Christ. I was like, holy shit, this is the horniest person on the face of the planet.
Which is so weird because she never did anything like that in the past.
She must have been a nun.
She's a saint.
Never chased after boys ever.
This isn't actually his mom.
I was honestly like a little bit disturbed by how aggressively she was going for everything. And I was like, this was like aggressive for now. Not to mention like 1955. That just wasn't like the norm. I was just like, oh, wow, damn. Okay, whatever. And then I kind of started dissecting. I was like, would I be as disturbed by this as if it was a guy chasing a girl? And I was like, absolutely. Yeah. I was like, this isn't a sex thing. It's just aggressive.
Side note, I don't think this movie passes the Bechdel test.
No.
There is like one girl and she's
No.
always horny after Marty.
Oh, yeah.
So just the movie was made in the 80s, a very male-centric movie.
Yeah. There was no question in my mind. Like the only girls in this film are Marty's girlfriend and Marty's mom.
And the
That's
one
it.
time, and his
Yeah.
mom and his sister are talking, and they're talking about boys.
Yep. So absolutely not. And how long do you think they're in the movie total? I would be willing to bet that his mom is probably in the movie for like 7 minutes total. I mean,
think it's
between
weird.
all the cuts, I don't think she's in there that long. Introducing horny mom. And now he's like, oh no, I gotta go. So he comes downstairs, has dinner with his family, and has this whole like really obvious thing where it's just like, oh, do we know your mom? It looks to her. Yeah, I think so. Without like looking away.
Which is like so obvious for us. But like, imagine just if someone did that and you like just thought he was a normal kid, you'd be like, man, this kid is weird.
Yeah, like, why are you looking at me? But instead, he's like, I think he should spend the night. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, no, it's fine. And the mom's like, oh, it's fine if you spend the night. And she grabs his thigh. And I was like,
Right.
oh,
And she
my
says,
God.
he can sleep in my room.
Oh, next plot point. Go.
Marty's like, gotta get out of there. I'm not fucking my mom. He skedaddles over to Doc's house because he got the address from the white pages.
We did skip over one product placement, Calvin Klein. She thought his name was
Calvin Klein.
Calvin.
Yep. The whole movie, she calls him Calvin.
Yep, because he was wearing Calvin Klein underwear.
Yeah, I've never seen purple underwear before.
Yeah, wow.
He's a cool spaceman.
Wow.
Pepsi free. We got DeLorean. We got Calvin Klein.
We got Nike.
We got Nike. Boom, boom, boom.
Bam, bam, bam.
This movie has been funded now.
So good. Okay, now we're at Doc's house.
We're at Doc's house, and Marty just knocks on the door, and Doc's like, come on in. And we're like, well, why is he so cool about this?
Mhm.
And then he puts on like a mind reading helmet,
Yep.
and he's like, I'm going to read your mind. And then it doesn't work at all. He's like, you're
Mhm.
here to sell me stuff. And then he's like, no, I'm from the future. And he's like, "Bleh, you're a spy. I don't know. Get out of here. And then he's like, no. You explained this exact story to me 30 years into the future.
Mhm.
And now it's very coincidentally coming up.
Yeah, perfect. And he's even got like the little like patch on his head from where he fell off of the
Mhm.
toilet.
And he's like, how could you know that? And then he shows him the car.
Uh-huh.
And then we go from there. We are initiated in how to get him back home.
And Doc, of course, in the past knows everything about how Doc in the future did things. The next 30 years, apparently, Doc did nothing.
Yeah,
no,
he didn't
no
change at all.
growth.
He was literally like, oh, I do invent time travel. I guess I'll just hang out for the next 30 years.
Yeah. I guess I'll just wait for it to happen.
All right? It has to happen now, right?
So then Doc is set into figuring out how the DeLorean works. So Marty explains to Doc that the DeLorean runs on plutonium. Then there's this funny little joke where Doc's like, oh, I'm sure you can get it at every drugstore in the future.
When actually, Doc had to get murdered to get his plutonium. So it doesn't get any easier to get.
And then he's like, that's impossible. There's no way we could get it. A bolt of lightning would have to strike.
And then you get this cool little motif. And he's like, I know when a bolt of lightning's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's the exact bolt of lightning that strikes the clock tower and makes it not work for the next
Mhm.
30 years. And he actually had the flyer because his girlfriend wrote her number on it.
Yeah.
So he kept the flyer and then he turns it around and he's like, I know exactly what time it is.
Mhm. And that's when we get the whole thing is set in motion.
Now we have a time limit. I like movies with time limits.
Yes.
I think it just naturally pushes the plot forward a little better.
Mhm.
I just like built-in natural timelines. Not just like, oh, we have to do this. And then like the whole movie can just like go at whatever pace it needs to.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh yeah, we can just take 3 months to do this.
Mhm.
Whereas this is like, okay, we have an established time. If we don't do this, we're never going to be able to find a lightning strike.
So they also do a good job of giving the main character obstacles to do during that time.
Mhm.
So like you've got a week. A week is a long time to fill. But then Doc's like, have you interacted with anybody else here before you came to me? And he's like, show me that picture of your siblings that you already showed me earlier.
Mhm.
Plot. He sees that his older brother has started to disappear out of the picture.
Which is so cheesy. And the
Yeah.
like the editing is just like slowly fading
Yeah.
down.
It's so cheesy, but like, was this at a time when it would have been cheesy?
I have
feel
no
like,
idea.
I feel like it probably wasn't all that cheesy at this point.
Mhm.
It hadn't been overdone yet. That's the problem with like movies that are really good, is that
Mhm.
every movie after them does the same thing. So then Marty is given the task of getting his parents to hook up because he fucked it up already, and now he needs to save his parents' relationship. Otherwise, he's going to cease to exist before he can even go back to his regular timeline.
So he has his goal. He's got to get his parents back together, but he only has a week to do it because one, their story of how they met ended with them kissing at the dance.
Yes.
And so he knows that like if that gets back to normal, it'll probably all go back to normal.
Mhm.
And he also has to make it back by the end of the lightning strike, which happens the same night.
Yes.
But the only reason his mom fell in love with his dad originally was the Lawrence Nightingale effect, which is where someone falls in love with someone they take care of. Well, now she didn't do that. She did that to Calvin Klein, aka Marty McFly.
Mhm.
And so she loves him. And Marty McFly is just so damn hot.
God,
and he's
he's
so good
sexy.
at everything.
Ugh.
So he can't even like shine a light on George because he is the light. And so whenever he tries to make George look cool, he just ends up making himself look cooler.
Yeah, Marty's just so fucking badass.
So we have his first attempt.
Yes.
Whereas at the school lunch cafeteria,
Mhm.
and he's like, just go and ask out mom. Like,
Mhm.
just go and do it. You don't know she's my mom yet, but just go and ask her out. She's a hottie. You're cool. You write books, apparently. Like, why don't you do that? And he's like, I'm really nervous. And like, Marty's like, I get really nervous too. That's okay. But like,
Wow.
it's more of like an internal thing. Marty doesn't realize he has flaws because he's perfect, right?
Of course. And it never changes.
And then what do you know? Biff gets in the way. Biff's like, I'm gonna go to the dance with Lorraine, and he puts out some real rapey vibes. Marty's like, oh, you should ask her out. Actually, I should save her.
Mhm.
And so he goes and punches Biff. Marty just saved this girl from sexual assault. What's cooler than that? What's sexier than that?
Not a lot.
No, he's a hero.
It's pretty hot.
He saved his mom. He saved his Lawrence Nightingale. Well, now we got to try even harder.
hmm
And so attempt number 2, they send dad to the diner to ask her out to the
Yeah.
dance.
Dad walks in. He's like, hey, you just got to be confident. You got to tell her, it's like, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. You're perfect. And the dad pulls out a little notebook and he's like,
Oh, I got to write this down. I'm such a loser.
he goes in and he starts talking to her. He's like, you are my, At that exact moment, in walks Biff and his crew. And can I just mention, part of his crew is this guy who's wearing 3D glasses.
All the time.
And it throws me off so hard. Were there 3D movies in 1955 that I was unaware of?
Maybe he's back.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying.
He's
I was
a
like,
time watcher or whatever.
This is a Doctor Who thing because Doctor Who, David Tennant puts on 3D glasses to see timey-wimey particles. It's literally a whole plot point. Anyways, yeah, there's this kid wearing 3D glasses, wigs me out the entire movie. So in walks Biff. Whoa, lo and behold, there's Marty there just in time to trip Biff. And Biff turns around and he's like, "Oh, you're dead meat. I'm get him." And Marty runs out of the diner only to be chased down by Biff and all his friends in his car while he goes and he robs a kid of, I don't know what this thing was.
It was like a milk crate nailed to a wooden board. So it was the semblance of like a scooter.
Yeah, but it looked like an actual thing. I don't know. It looked like it was like a marketed thing. Like it had like stuff on the side. But essentially, he breaks this kid's toy and turns it into a skateboard. And I was like, holy shit, did Marty McFly invent skateboarding for this world?
No wonder he's so good at it.
And there's this whole cool chase. We're not going to give you a play-by-play. Go watch
You get
the
to see
film.
plenty of Nikes. Don't you worry.
Lots of Nikes, lots of fun sparks coming off the back of the skateboard.
For whatever reason. Why
Yeah.
were there sparks coming off a wooden skateboard?
There was this cool thing, you should definitely like YouTube this, was when they are hitting him on the skateboard with the car. So he's holding himself away from the car while on the skateboard. He hops up onto the car, runs over the car, and jumps back down onto the skateboard.
Oh, it was real badass. Yeah. Only for the car to then run into a truck of manure
Wah, wah.
filling up the car with manure. And then everyone runs out of the diner and is like, who is he?
Oh
And
my
then his
God.
mom goes, that's Calvin Klein.
He's a dreamboat.
Mhm.
All right. So next scene, your turn.
He goes to Doc's place, right?
Mhm.
And then he walks into the office, which had the DeLorean in it, and then a perfect scale model of the city.
Mhm.
And then Doc's like, sorry, I didn't have enough time to make it like up to my standards.
Oh, of course.
I couldn't paint them or actually make it to scale.
Doc is a huge D&D fanatic. He's like, oh, I'm sorry.
I just had these lying around. It's
Yeah.
no big deal.
got all these minis. You're the warlock. I'm the wizard.
Honestly, the orcs have taken over town center. A lightning strike's about to happen, but we have to clear them, of course.
I'm gonna need you to roll initiative.
And then they played D&D for the next 4 hours of the film.
And that's why I love it so much.
It was just really my nerd shit.
So
Time
good.
travel into D&D.
Perfect. So continue.
So there's the perfect scale model of the city, and he's like, we know where the lightning's gonna happen. I'll just like drape this wire from the clock tower down to the street. We'll make a power line, and then your car has this cool grappling hook on the back that's just hanging up. There's like a clothes hanger that's like, it's gonna catch the wire while the lightning's traveling through it, right into the car. 1.21
Gigawatts.
watts. Here, I think was like a good point of minor foreshadowing.
Okay.
Because at one point, he's like, why did you book a DeLorean at like the opening scenes? And
Yeah.
Doc's like, well, I wanted to have some style, some flair.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, actually, the all metal frame. And then something happens. And so I think he was going
Oh.
to say the all metal frame disperses the
Yeah.
electricity. I don't know if that's what he's going to say, but it felt true to me.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
a
was
really
like, that's
cool
cool.
point.
So then they run the scale model. They attach the model to like a battery and the little like wind up car with this fake hanger.
Oh, it
thing
wasn't a
sticking out of
battery.
it.
That was wall power.
Oh, it was wall power.
that was a full 120 watts, my guy.
The wind up car goes, electricity's flowing through the wire, it hits, and then the car just explodes into flames and drives off the
Yeah.
edge and starts a little fire in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
house.
Perfect.
And so the plan is all set and ready to go.
Mhm.
So now they just have to figure out the romance thing because clearly this is
Yep.
gonna work.
So after this model like bursts into flames, there's a knock at the door. Morty goes to the door and he's like, "She found me." Sorry, Marty. So yeah, then the mom shows up to Doc Brown's place. She's like, "Well, I know it's not traditional, but I thought I might ask you to the ball." She's Southern all of a sudden, and he's like, "What about other people?" I mean, I just kind of figured I'd go with you. Brr." And so then the plan sets in. He goes and he decides to scheme with his father because girls love nothing more than a hero.
Right? We've already seen it once.
Mhm.
You know, those eyes kicked right on when he punched Biff the first time. All you gotta do is make it happen again. Those
Yep.
eyes will kick on.
Target locked. So Marty gets together with his dad to form this brilliant plan, obviously flawless. And George is like, "Well, how are you gonna make her not like you so that I get to come in and rescue you?" "Well, I'm gonna do the thing that girls don't like what you do, which is take advantage of them and lie to them or whatever."
I think it cuts to George just like being weird at the dance. Just
Yeah.
But I felt a little offended because like clearly he's being such a dumb idiot, and I'm like, man, that looks a lot like me. That's
This tall,
it's
thin guy.
right? Just like waving,
Wiggling.
and it's like, man, look at this dumbass, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, look at this dumbass.
Glad that's not me.
So George is having way too much fun dancing to the live music at the ball. Outside, we see Marty pull up with his mom, and he's like, "Oh, geez. I mean, maybe we should. I don't know." But much to his dismay, she is super on board with this idea of like getting down and parking the car.
yeah, no, yeah. She's like, so me first? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. And he's like,
Well, she does successfully kiss him.
yes.
So mom successfully kissed Marty.
Incest initiated, yeah.
Phase 1, there's no going back. But then there's actually a gleam of hope because she's like, that's
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
It was like kissing my brother, right? All sexual tension was gone.
Phew.
This is not an incest movie like Disney thought it was. This is the clean, wholesome movie where you kiss your
course.
mom and you don't like it. But then George opens the door as plan goes. But psych, it's not actually George. It's Biff.
"Hey, what's up? I'm big and dumb." So they pull him out and then they take him out back and throw him in the trunk of a car. But the trunk of the car belongs to the band that was performing on stage, who then chases off the guys who threw Marty in the trunk. And they're like, "Oh man, we got to get this kid out of the trunk." He's like, "Who's got the keys?" And then Marty's like,
The keys are in there.
"Uh-oh."
Oh no, the keys are right here. I have them.
Wham, wham. Meanwhile, some very uncomfortable rapey shit is happening in the car with Lorraine and Biff. Then finally, there's a point where George is like, whoa, I'm late, and runs out, opens the door only to see Biff sitting in the car.
Yeah,
where Marty
not
was
little
supposed to
Marty
be.
that he has to punch and is
Yeah.
prepared for. He has to punch Biff. And Biff's like, scram, McFly.
He gets put in an arm bar and he's like getting the shit kicked out of him. George has the super slow, awkward fist. Here's the upside. So because George is so lanky and long, he swings his fist around and there's enough momentum at the end of his fist to throw a car because he just punches Biff's lights out.
Punches Biff into a 360 spin.
And then he just falls on the ground.
And he's dead.
Yep.
Never to see Biff again.
And at this exact moment,
Marty gets saved from the trunk.
wow.
But the lead guitarist accidentally cuts his hand with the screwdriver that they're using to jimmy open the car.
Ah, dang.
And he's like, I can't play. And Marty's like looking at his photo and he's like, I'm still disappearing. Like the timeline hasn't been fixed, even though they're in dancing with each other now. But they're not because there's no music. So someone has to play. And so cut to Marty just playing some like super chill strings. It's just ba-dum, 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 as they're like singing, Earth Angel,
Yep.
will you be mine? It's just kind of like slow and awkward. And then someone takes Lorraine from George and is like, scram, George, you're not as cool. I know you beat up Biff. We don't instantly respect you.
But I wanted to kiss her.
Yeah, well. And then Marty's still like disappearing and then he can't play because he's disappearing.
Yep.
And it's really, Michael J. Fox is still perfectly on screen.
Yeah.
He's just acting really weird.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
I did think that was a little bit odd. I was like, is he just disappearing from the inside out? Like, what's happening?
right? And then cut to George. He then pushes the guy away.
Hey, you
Kisses
sucker.
Lorraine. This is his first kiss. He's not great at it right now. But then Marty is like, "Boing, I am okay again." And then he proceeds to not actually sing Johnny Be Good, but instead have a very weird voiceover do it while he plays guitar.
I couldn't tell if it was a voiceover or not.
It was not.
at first.
At the instant, I was like, who is this? What? I was like, maybe they recorded it in a studio.
Yeah.
And it just sounds weird. No, I Googled it. It's just a random dude because Michael J. Fox didn't think he could do it justice.
Could do it. That's fair. I mean, props to him because there's a lot of times where actors,
Try.
yeah, it's just like, you shouldn't, like, especially with stunts, I feel like there's plenty of times we could talk about it. Game of Thrones specifically, a lot of actors shouldn't have done their stunts. So then they're like, let's give him something really kick in. And he plays Johnny Be Good and breaks down with a hardcore Van Halen-esque guitar solo at the end. And everyone's like, leave, bro.
Dude, that was weird as fuck.
He like threw himself around on the ground and everything.
That was
which-
interesting music. Elvis like wiggled his legs the wrong way and people were like, he's the devil.
Yeah. And during this sequence is when the trope thing I've always seen but never known where it was from happened, which is the, hey, you're looking for that fresh new sound? Well, listen to this. And they hold out the phone to the thing. And I was like, oh, that's where that's from. I've seen that trope done like 80 times in a bunch of different things.
So he also invented a new genre of music amongst the other things he changed.
So yeah, he's like, whoa, I gotta get going because otherwise I might not make it out of 1955.
I think he took the car that he took to the dance.
He took it to the dance. So he
But
stole
then
his
he
grandpa's
hops
car.
out in his
Yeah.
life preserver and his 80s clothes. And he's like, I had to change.
And Doc's like, you're 4 minutes late.
It already happened. No, not quite. He's actually like 10 minutes early, which feels kind of like a drag because they make it seem like it's so pressing. Like, you got to get out of here. And that's actually so much stuff happens in between.
Yeah. So Marty pulls up, gets out of his car after he's changed, goes and talks to Doc Brown. He's like, Doc, I gotta give you this thing. And he slips this letter into Doc's coat. There we go.
Right, because Marty knows Doc's going to get shot in the future.
And Doc's like,
In fact, the timeline. No, I can't know anything about my future. Then I might not just happen to make time travel happen.
and so Doc pulls out this letter that Marty has written for him and he rips it up in front of him. He's like, I don't need to know, by Jove. And he's English now. At that moment, a tree falls over on the cable that goes from the clock tower to the DeLorean. Then Marty's like, oh, I'll help you get it. And he's like, no, I'll go up and do it myself. You hold the rope or something. So yeah, then Marty gets in the car, won't start.
So Doc's up at the top of the clock tower now, and he's hanging over the edge.
Whoa, I'm on the edge.
And it's not built very structurally sound. Believe it or not, those ledges are not meant to hold people.
Holy shit, it broke out under my feet.
And so he's trying to climb the clock tower, connect the 2 wires. The time changes, so the thing falls, and he has to catch that.
Whoa.
Lots of the bells ringing. It's loud.
Ouch.
And so many things happen, and then eventually he's just holding the 2 wires. And then finally, as the lightning comes down, he's able to squeeze them together.
He connects them together, then he has to fucking zip line down
To connect them at the
to
bottom
connect
because he
them at the bottom,
unconnected
'cause he
that part.
unconnected it. Which, can we also talk about, for just one moment, how strong Doc is? Like,
Ooh.
pure forearms holding on to that the
But
clock
only one because he
tower.
was trying to reach with his other arm.
And then, he grabs the other one while it's caught on his foot. It's just like, holy shit.
There's a cool core workout where he like puts one ankle up to his fist
Yeah.
while holding only his body weight in that one fist.
Insane. This man,
No wonder he invents time travel. He's just a god.
he's so strong. He just wills time. Then Marty's like, I gotta go back. I gotta save Doc. I know, I'll go back 10 minutes before Doc died. Goes back to the future.
It all works. Yeah, he's back to the future. The title works.
Wow.
But he's downtown and his car's out of fuel again.
Oh,
Not
no.
where he needs to be.
So he hops out and runs all the way, chasing the Libyans. And
You notice that the mall has changed names.
it's, things are back to normal. Things are all shitty again because it's the future. And
Yeah,
of
and it's
course we
like
fuck things up.
90% the same as like when he had left,
Mhm.
as far as we know.
There's like might be a couple of Easter eggs, but for the most part,
Mhm.
it's all just back the way it was before.
But yeah, then he has to chase the Libyan because he sees the Volkswagen bug that they
Mhm.
noticed a mile before. So they probably noticed Marty the first time too, right?
Yeah. They're probably like, that's weird. How'd this kid get 2 places?
And then he's too late because he had to run the whole way.
Mhm.
And he sees the cool chase scene and he sees Doc get
Mhm.
shot.
We see a DeLorean commercial, but far away.
Yeah, so the DeLorean commercial number 2. And then so he runs up and he's like, Doc, I can't believe you died. And then Joey's 20/20 eyes notice that there was no blood on Doc this time either.
And then he goes, damn, bitch, I got a fucking vest on, son.
And he's like, how did you know? And he like pulls off the paper that's all torn up that he had
Yeah.
retaped up. And I was like, why did you keep that? That's all.
He's like, this is going to be dramatic as hell.
Doc's actually just an actor. He's really a drama queen.
Yeah, and then he wakes up at home?
I think he does go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because I think he wakes up in the morning
With Pepsi free.
with Pepsi free, of course. That doesn't change. Pepsi free is timeless, guys.
Yes,
And
always.
if you haven't understood, DeLoreans, Pepsi free, Nike, and Calvin
I
Klein are
fucking
timeless.
love walking down to my corner quick shop and just grabbing me a Pepsi free because they're still around.
Yeah, that ad really did a lot for him. Clearly worked. But he comes down and his brother and sister are like in business suits instead of fast food uniforms.
Yeah.
They're eating caviar.
Whoa.
And then Crispin Glover comes in, George McFly. I'm a rat ass dude now. Look at
Heck
my
yeah.
thin shades.
yeah,
I could put on a visor backwards and you wouldn't even care.
Whoa, my mom's still hot.
Look, Biff's out there waxing my car.
Whoa.
Hey, check in the garage. It's that pretty okay-ish truck you were pining after.
Hey, Biff, be sure you don't scam me.
Yeah, I'm the bully now.
Yeah, oh, that Biff always trying to get away with something. Is it just me? Or is something about this ending like feel wrong to you?
I think it's a little supposed to because it's like not his timeline. Like it
Yeah.
all feels off.
Well, because I think it's just
Eerie.
like, oh, they're all in business suits, and my anarchist brain is just like, it's like, no,
Down
no
with the
bureaucrats.
system.
down with all of it.
But they live in the same house, which is like a weird like
I mean, maybe it's a nicer neighborhood now.
they're trendsetters, the McFlys.
Yeah. Well, you see, he liked the house. He bought in while it was new. He helped spread the wealth amongst his neighbors. The whole town itself like raised up economically because Biff is stupid and like has McFly do all of his paperwork for him. But because McFly now runs the company, he knows how to run it more efficiently and isn't bottlenecked by Biff pushing him down.
Right, in this movie, came out during the Reagan administration,
course.
and so they're really amplifying the effects of trickle-down economics.
Which totally work.
Like you can see it in effect right here. If the smart person has the money, which all the smart people have the money, right? Then it gets to the right hands.
Is there a fucking disclaimer at the bottom that's like the Reagan administration approves this
right?
movie?
Well, I'm about to tell you something that just might make you feel like that might be the actual
Uh-oh.
implications. But
wait,
to
hold on.
finish off the movie, yeah,
Okay.
Doc drives back in and he's like, "Hey, Marty, you know what? I'm glad you made me feel alive. I'm going to the future. See what we do in 30 years. And Marty's like, look me up. And then Doc does a sick burnout in the driveway, drives down the street, and then rips back by in his sick DeLorean.
Mm-hmm.
But then Doc reappears like 3 seconds later.
Whoa.
And then he's wearing these like cool new age goggles
Mhm.
and this weird outfit and these sick Nikes.
And he's got a juicer on the back of the fucking DeLorean.
And he's tossing fucking banana peels and cans in there. He empties out the can and then tosses the can in there. That confuses me. And then he's like, Marty, it's about your children. Time to go to the future.
But what do you do? Don't we need the roads? I forget how it comes up.
Don't worry. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Whatever the music is.
Yeah.
It's pretty good music, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, it's good music.
It ends with the DeLorean flying into the camera. Man.
Wow, pretty cool.
There's like a nice little bit of subtle comedy. There's some over-the-top comedy. And the effects live up.
Yeah.
But about this Reaganomics that's going on in the end.
Okay, go ahead.
Crispin Glover,
Yes.
George McFly, and Nerdy Boy, furious with the ending.
Oh, really?
Hates it.
Yeah.
He thinks, oh, they're sad in the beginning because they're poor.
Uh-huh.
Now they're rich and happy.
Yep.
Money buys happiness.
Yes.
I hate this motto.
Fair.
This is some Reaganomics bullshit here,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to stand for it. So I'm not showing up for the next movie. And they're like, what? You're a huge part of this movie.
Yeah.
We really need you in this next movie.
Mhm.
And he's like, okay, pay me as much as Michael J. Fox. Pay me
Uh-huh.
Marty McFly salary.
Mhm.
And they're like, no.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, pay me as much as Biff then. And they're like, no. And then they're like, we'll pay you half as much as Biff. And he goes, no. And now they're furious because they're like, we need him. The whole next movie is based on him going to the future and then back. And so they need like him to like dress up as old and dress up as young.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you can pay me $1 million to shoot this movie. And they're like, no.
Damn.
And so you know what they do?
What?
They hire another actor.
Of course.
That's fine. That's what you do. It's going to be a little weird that a different person is playing his dad.
Mhm.
But like people will probably get over it. No, we can't have that. It needs to be Crispin Glover. Crispin Glover was great in his role.
Right.
But we can't have him. He's pissed.
Mhm.
You know what? We have all the prosthetics, all the molds of his face from when we did the makeup.
No way.
So let's just hire someone who's kind of funny like him. And then we'll just put the molding over his face.
That's gotta be illegal.
We're getting there, buddy. When this new actor comes in, the actress who plays Lorraine won't talk to him because she's like loyal to Crispin Glover.
Of course.
And then the first words out of
They
Michael J.
banged.
Fox's mouth are, Crispin's not going to like this.
Yeah.
And so then they put the fake face molding of Crispin Glover on this new actor's face. And they're like, this still looks weird. So then they clip, like CGI clip Crispin Glover's face on top of it to make it a little better.
What?
Still looks weird.
Yeah. Because
So then the next movie, they write in a back injury. So that way his character has to be flipped upside down. So that way people just can't tell, but he's still in the show because they need him at least a little bit for the beginning.
That's so fucked.
And then Crispin Glover, for obvious reasons, is furious.
Yeah.
They transplanted his face onto another actor and was like, this is cool.
Yeah. They stole his likeness.
Right? And he made it very clear he's not going to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So he sues.
Of course.
And it's a drawn out process. He's not the first person to sue for something similar.
Uh-huh.
It's like happened recently with like Britney Spears and like GTA 5 because the opening cover looks like her.
Mhm.
Paramount's like, no, it's cool. They rule against Paramount and they end up having to pay him over the $1 million he asked for to be in the movie. Instead of getting a salary, he just gets a percentage of what
Yeah.
the movie made, and the movie did great.
Yeah.
Crispin Glover sets a landmark case not allowing companies to do this kind of shit.
That's fucking dope.
And
though.
so this movie, I guess it's technically the next movie,
Yeah.
established that you cannot use someone's likeness after a movie.
That's so fucking crazy. We could do a whole podcast just about that. Like just about that process. And
Uh-huh.
shit. That's so fucking insane. Could you imagine just being like, yeah, this is fine. Could you imagine being that actor who just like agreed to it? Yeah, it's fine. Put his face on my face. It's cool.
But yeah, I think technically they settled, but they had to settle for more than they were going to pay him anyways.
Good.
Huge case, landmark film case.
Oh my god. I couldn't imagine how fucking furious I would be if I was Crispin Glover.
That's not the only actor change that could have happened.
Fucking go. Let's hear it.
Right? So this actually applies to Back to the Future 1. The cool, rad kid in a life preserver
Mhm.
walks into Doc's office in the opening scene, pans up. You see this skinny, dark-haired emo boy, Eric Stoltz.
Who's Eric Stoltz?
Nobody. I mean, at this time, nobody. He is a method dramatic actor
Okay.
who had only done like dark, edgy, like deep characters, like method actors do.
Right.
And he became Marty
Why
McFly.
why do they only do that? Like, why?
Yeah, can you not method act a happy person?
Yeah.
Man, I'm just gonna be happy all the time. No, it just doesn't work for some reason. It's so easy to make yourself sad. It's hard to
Wait,
make
what was
yourself
his
happy.
name? Eric.
Stoltz. But Eric Stoltz was Marty McFly. Eric Stoltz was cast and shot as Marty McFly for 6 weeks of the 13-week shoot of Back to the Future.
Oh.
But turns out, trauma emo method actor boy
Uh
wasn't funny.
huh.
He was making this movie like sad
Dark.
and depressing and just like not quite as cool. And he wasn't living up to this character. And Paramount's like, no, we can't have this movie flop. Everyone rejected this movie. They sent it over to like 40 different places. Disney rejected it because it was too raunchy. Everyone else rejected it because it was too tame.
He's wearing like a leather jacket.
For literally half the shoot, they shot half the movie.
That's so crazy.
And Paramount goes, this movie's going to flop. We need Michael J. Fox. We wanted Michael J. Fox from the beginning. But guess what? He's shooting Family Ties, a huge hit show that
Yeah.
films every day of the week.
Oh, fuck.
So we can't have Michael J. Fox. And they're
Uh-huh.
like, well, we better beg because we need Michael J. Fox.
Okay.
They end up sorting out a deal. I think they pay like $4 million
Uh-huh.
like to Michael J. Fox and other people to do all this reshooting. Michael J. Fox still does all of his shooting for Family Ties during the week, gets picked up from set, driven to Back to the Future set, acts until 4 a.m., gets dragged from the truck into his bed, sleeps for 2 hours, dragged back into a truck for a
Wha-
6 a.m. shoot of Family Ties,
Jesus.
starts over the cycle again. For 3 months,
Could you imagine?
Michael J. Fox averaged 2 hours of sleep.
Dude, I'm.
Honestly, I know
Fucking
you're
insane.
proud of him, right? You wish.
I mean, like, so as someone who has done something similar for 1 month, my body, like, my organs were shutting down. Could you imagine Michael J. Fox on like the start of like the second month?
Mhm.
But it's just like, hey, Michael, Mikey, you gotta get. Jesus Christ,
Gigawatts!
Mikey, we need.
I'm all the characters. Get it into your head, McFly. McFly.
Michael, you're saying all of the lines that aren't yours. We need to go to Family Ties.
Skateboard.
Can you skateboard there?
Goose.
Michael
It's
J.
evil.
Fox.
The keys are evil.
Michael J. Fox is the 80s. Please. Just a PA at his door calling him Michael J. Fox. Mr. Michael J. Fox, please put on your Nikes. We need you on set in 5. They say that, and then the fucking walls of his room open up into the set of Family Ties. He looks real good in that movie for having 2 hours of sleep.
Memorizing lines
Yeah.
for both of those?
Like, that's gotta be tough.
Because like a show like Family Ties, it's not like, because you could just know Back to the Future and theoretically have your whole script memorized.
For sure.
They're probably still doing writes and rewrites
Yeah, during
constantly
the
for
week.
Family Ties. Yeah.
What? How insane! The logistics of putting that together would be an absolute nightmare. Did they add 6 weeks to the shoot for him, or did they now have to shoot that 6 weeks in a condensed time?
I think they added on the time,
Okay.
but he couldn't shoot during weekdays.
Yeah.
So it was like 24-hour days on weekends
Oh my
and
God.
like 12-hour night days on weekdays.
Yeah. That's so crazy, though. I'm looking at these stills right now. People at home, go and check out Humorish_TM on Twitter. We're going to post some of these photos.
This movie existed without Michael J. Fox, at least half of it.
So bizarre. They have like side by sides of like
Mm-hmm.
some of the same exact shots.
He's wearing a leather jacket instead of his like cool red life preserver, like sleeveless jacket.
Yeah.
Would entirely tonally shift the movie from like
Absolutely.
a light, whimsical, like kid who wants to be in a band but actually doesn't have any motivation
Mhm.
to like this like edgy emo kid on like the fringe of society.
Yeah. I kind of want to see what this original film looked like.
Oh yeah, like I want to see the cut kind of like the
Uh-huh.
first half or whatever they got.
I'm sure it wasn't as good, or maybe not even wasn't as good. I'm sure it just like tonally feels so much different.
Yeah, it's not the same movie.
So now that we've done it, final thoughts.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's got some history behind it that's really like cool and fascinating.
Yeah.
Super surprising. This is like a cult classic, and how did I not know this?
Mm-hmm.
That there was a landmark case behind it, that it was shot without its star actor who like went on to be great things because of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This movie transcends like any of the individual characters or anything in it.
Yeah.
And yet like you don't really hear much about it beyond just like, oh, it's a good movie.
No, seriously. Like coming into it, I knew literally nothing about it. I mean, if you
Mhm.
heard the intro, I gave all of like the weird snippets that I knew,
Yeah.
but like absolutely nothing about how the plot actually went. And this movie like kind of flew by too. Like it just felt like it's an efficient story, and I was entertained and engaged like the entire time, which I haven't really felt in the movie in a while. And so it was kind of like refreshing to go back and see like an older film that's still like good and holds up really well.
Yeah, and I love like 80s movies. I don't watch them a whole lot, but usually they just feel like they're just simpler.
Yeah, there were some killer performances, and like the writing's really interesting.
Yeah, like I think Michael J. Fox was perfect, Christopher Lloyd was perfect, Crispin Glover was perfect, and I think even Biff's actor did a really good job too.
Yeah,
I don't know his
and
name.
the mom, she did really well, even though like I do feel bad that she played like the traditional kind of like woman chasing man kind of thing. She did a good job contrasting between her, even like her body movements and everything like were really transcended. Well, I kind of feel like George McFly was kind of the same dude both ways, whereas older Lorraine was kind of like a little more grizzled, a little bit more like stiff in her movements, and
Right. She used to be fun and exciting, and then like she's just like slowly like was worn down.
yeah, years of resentment of her husband.
Right, where George is just like, yeah, this is life.
Yeah.
I'm the same person. It works.
Yuck. But yeah, great movie. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Oh wait, should we start doing a rating system?
Ooh, rating system.
I give this movie 5 Christopher Lloyd haircuts out of 5.
From 1955 to 1985, this is a 1986, if you know what I mean.
Whoa. It is an 9.5 unzipped vests out of 10.
Check this movie out. This movie is no longer too long didn't watch.
Yep.
It is off the list.
It's been
and
watched.
we are moving on to our next movie. Hang out after the credits to see what it will be. That was so much fun recording the first episode of TLDW. I really appreciate you guys joining us for this full episode, and thanks for hanging around for the credits. I know you want to hear what this next movie's going to be, so I'll keep this part short. So if you want us to check out more movies that we've never seen before, you should get in contact with us. You can hit us up at Twitter at humorish_TM, or you can talk to us on our Gmail at humorish.tm@gmail.com. Anyways, I know you're dying to see what our next movie's going to be, so see if you can guess with this little teaser.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!